I don't do these proclamations very often, but every now and then you just hear a story in the community that captures your imagination, and this is one. And when I met recently with the Reverend Dr. Ella Redfield, she told me about the young people in her congregation who have been collecting pennies to commemorate and try to do something constructive about the prevalence of poverty in our community, participating in a national campaign called the Penny Project. And she asked me, could I assist in providing some sort of public forum in which the young people from the congregation could make this presentation. And I said, oh yes, we do that here. And I was delighted to have the opportunity to invite her and several of the young people who have taken off school this morning to reflect upon the prevalence of poverty here in Montgomery County. The jars of pennies here, each jar of pennies contains about $50. And this congregation, the New Creation Church of Wheaton, collected 300,000 pennies. That would amount to roughly 60 of these jars. So it's a logistical challenge, moving the pennies from place to place and keeping track of the pennies. And Dr. Redfield actually sadly told me that the security at the church has had to be augmented because of all these pennies. So the good news is they're going to be converting the pennies into real cash, and they're going to be donating the cash to 2 worthy recipients that meet the needs of children and families in poverty here in our community. And one of those organizations is represented here this morning. It's well known to us here on the council. It's the National Center for Children and Families Green Tree Shelter in Bethesda. So I'm joined by the 2 council members who represent the district in which the New Creation Church is located. It's currently in District 5, and then when the new district boundaries take effect in March, it will be in District 4. So I invited Councilmember Ervin and Councilmember Navarro to join me, and because I know of both of their deep concern over the prevalence of poverty in our community. And so I'm going to begin by reading this first paragraph of the proclamation. And it says, and Dr. Redfield, will you join me? Sure. Whereas the Penny Project of American Baptist Home Mission Societies has a goal to encourage churches and other ministries to raise 14 million pennies to represent the number of children living in poverty in the United States and Puerto Rico. Councilmember Ervin.
And whereas the Penny Project started in a New Hampshire church, and now young church members across the nation are involved, including those of the New Creation Church of Wheaton, which under the leadership of the pastor, Reverend Dr. Ella V. Redfield, has inspired its children to thus far collect more than 300,000 pennies. And whereas,
that's my colleague here. Let's see if I can pull out my glasses. Very important, yes. Whereas the Encarta Dictionary defines a penny as a, quote, a U.S. coin worth 1 cent or a coin with a very small amount of money, end quote. But the definition does not explain how adding pennies together can provide lunch for children who would otherwise be hungry, warm clothing for those who would otherwise be cold, and school supplies for those who want to learn, but do not have access to the tools that would help. And
whereas more than 6,900,000 pennies have been raised through the Penny Project to help address the needs of children, thereby showing that a penny, when added to other pennies, can be very valuable and influential. Now therefore be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland, hereby commends New Creation Church for setting an example to all that a penny by itself has minimal value, but when added with other pennies, it can make a real difference in children's lives. Presented today, January 24th, and signed by our Council President, Roger Berliner. Dr. Redfield, thank you so much for being here.
I want to thank Councilman Leventhal and all of the council members for allowing us this opportunity and privilege to come and share. We at New Creation believe that each and every one of us, without exception, is a piece of God, and that we are here on this earth to serve humanity. And this is what we try to instill in our young people. And I am just so excited and proud of our young people for the wonderful work they have done. They have really worked hard in this Penny Project. This time last year, our church was experiencing a very difficult time when our church was broken into. And at that time, we had about 40,000 pennies. and all of our pennies were stolen. And it was an article written in the Washington Post about the situation, and people from across this country, as far as Washington State, sent us pennies in the mail, and we recovered not just 40,000 pennies, but we raised nearly, actually it's a little more than 300,000. And one of the things that I reminded our young people, we cannot lose anything in this universe. God has tremendously blessed us and shown us in more ways than one that there are so many things that we can do. And again, I just thank God for this opportunity to come and share and be a part of this presentation, and thank the council for this wonderful proclamation. It encourages our young people, it encourages our church. Several members of our church are here, and I want to thank them for coming and sharing. And at this time, if you don't mind, I'd like for our young people to come and have a few words.
Yes, please. So introduce yourself. Tell us your name.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're the Youth Council of New Creation Church. I'm the Vice President, Diamond Reed. This is our President, Amanda Chavis, and Mark Overton. We have come here today with a portion of the pennies we collected for the Penny Project. The National Initiative of the American Baptist Churches USA sponsored the Penny Project to seek awareness in childhood poverty in our communities.
There are 14 million children in the United States and Puerto Rico who struggle with issues related to poverty. Each penny we collect symbolically represent one child living in poverty.
We, the Youth Council of New Creation Church, have raised 300,000 pennies in our effort to see that all children are safe and adequately cared for. We appreciate this opportunity to come before this county council. Our purpose is to bring awareness of child poverty in our community to you as you make necessary budget decisions. We appeal to you. Please, please remember the children. Today we present a check in the amount of $1,500 to the Green Tree Shelter. And another check in the amount of $1,500 to the Mid-County United Ministries. Thank you.
Good. And we have Heidi Webb here from the National Center for Children and Families Green Tree Shelter. Would you like to just for a moment tell the members of the congregation how these funds will be utilized to alleviate poverty in our community?
Absolutely. First of all, great job. Congratulations. I'm honored to represent the National Center for Children and Families, and when you guys see pennies in a jar, I see hope in a jar. We really are out there doing that hard work, serving families in our community who are homeless. And these are mostly children that we're serving. If you count in our shelter, which serves 14 families 365 days a year, equaling hundreds of families every year, and you do a head count, it's always more children than adults. So we're really out there serving homeless children primarily. Every year we have to raise we get half of the support from the county, and we're so grateful for the county for their support, but the other half has to come from the community. So every penny truly does count, and I thank you so much for your support.
And is Marion Yes. And our very good friend, very well known to the county council, she's really the informal mayor of Wheaton, Marion Fryer, will represent the Mid-County United Ministries.
Thank you, George. Thank you so much to the council for allowing us to have this opportunity. I live right in Wheaton, and the Mid-County United Ministries is right in the building where I spend a lot of time, and they have a wonderful food pantry there. They serve so many people. It's very small, and we always need support, and we're so thankful that I'm a member of New Creation Church also, that New Creation was able to share these these pennies with us. And I appreciate this opportunity today. Thank you so much.
Ms. Webb?
You always have to look at your opportunities. We were sending a letter in the mail. When I say we, the Board of Directors for the National Center for Children and Families, each year we honor a humanitarian leader, and coincidentally, the leader that our Board of Directors had selected this year is Councilmember George Leventhal. So congratulations. You are our 2012 Humanitarian Leader of the Year. I hope you accept our nomination on June 1st, and thank you for your support.
Thank you so much. I didn't know that. Wow. Well, that's news to me. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to pose for a photograph. We're going to move the microphone. We're going to have the checks and the proclamation in the photo.
Behind the truck so they can see it.
Let's have
anyone could grab a jar, but maybe you can get a jar just to go back. Yeah.